Imagine a key, not a key to a door, but to the very fabric of reality itself. A key that allows you to communicate with entities from other dimensions, to travel through time, and to glimpse the future. Ancient civilizations believed this key existed. They called it the vine of souls, the flower of the gods, or food for the spirit. Modern science has given it a more prosaic name, dimethyltryptamine, or DMT. But here is the most astounding part. This key doesn't need to be found in a lost temple or a distant jungle. This key is being manufactured inside of you, right now, in a tiny, enigmatic gland at the center of your brain. Does this mean that every one of us has the innate ability to hack the code of the universe? Today, we are going down the rabbit hole. We are investigating the spirit molecule. How did the ancients use it to build pyramids and predict the future? Why did the CIA spend decades studying it, only to classify all of its findings? And what do people really see when they close their eyes and journey to the other side? Part 1. The Pineal Enigma, the third eye in your brain. It all began in 1990 when Dr. Rick Strassman, a professor at the University of New Mexico, did the unthinkable. He received official U.S. government permission to conduct human research on DMT. For 5 years, he administered the substance to volunteers, meticulously documenting their experiences. Strassman wasn't just attracted to the psychedelic effects. He was interested in the source. He theorized that DMT is produced by the pineal gland, a tiny, rice-sized organ located in the geometric center of the brain. Modern medicine often dismisses this gland as a vestige, but ancient cultures revered it as the most important organ. In Hindu tradition, it's known as the third eye, the organ of spiritual sight. The ancient Egyptians depicted it as the Eye of Horus, a symbol of insight and omniscience. Astoundingly, if you overlay an anatomical cross-section of the pineal gland onto the Eye of Horus, their shapes match almost perfectly. Strassman discovered something even shocking. He found that on the 49th day after conception, an embryo's pineal gland releases a significant flood of DMT. He interpreted this as the moment the soul enters the fetus. But the main takeaway from his research changed everything. DMT doesn't just affect how the brain creates perception, it affects how the brain receives information. This means that what people see during a DMT trip isn't just a hallucination. It could be reality, a different reality. Strassman proposed that DMT allows our brain to perceive parallel universes, dark matter, and dimensions inhabited by intelligent entities. It is an antenna tuned to frequencies we don't normally pick up. Part 2. The Lost Knowledge of the Ancients, from Egypt to Nostradamus. As Strassman made his discoveries in the lab, he realized he was merely rediscovering knowledge that was thousands of years old. Cave paintings in Spain, over 6,000 years old, depict shamans holding mushrooms alongside scenes of out-of-body experiences. The ancient Egyptians constantly depicted themselves sniffing the blue lotus flower, a plant rich in psychoactive compounds similar to DMT. The heretic pharaoh Akhenaten and his wife Nefertiti allegedly founded an entire new religion dedicated to the sun god Aten, after visions induced by this flower. Entities from these visions guided them on how to build a new capital in the desert, pinpointing the location of underground water sources. The ancient Greeks were no different. The priestesses of the Oracle of Delphi inhaled vapors from fissures in the earth to deliver their famous prophecies. Analysis has shown these vapors contained hydrocarbons. Great philosophers like Plato underwent the Eleusinian mysteries, rituals that involved drinking a potion called kykeon, believed to contain ergot, the source of LSD. Even in medieval monasteries, those quiet bastions of faith, monks secretly cultivated henbane, wormwood, and mandrake, studying their properties. The most famous of them, Nostradamus, by his own account, used herbal infusions to enter a trance state where he saw his famous prophecies of the future. From the Tibetan monks with their ritual drink Amrita to the Amazonian shamans with their ayahuasca, all across the globe, ancient cultures used the same biochemical key to unlock the doors of perception. They communicated with entities, gained knowledge, and built civilizations. The most astonishing thing is the striking similarity in the reports from those who traveled to other worlds via DMT, whether an ancient shaman or a modern volunteer in Strassman's lab. The entities they encounter almost always fall into a few specific categories, as if it's an established ecosystem. The jesters and tricksters, beings who mock, play, and distort reality. Their worlds are like carnivals where the laws of physics don't apply. In mythology, these are Loki, poltergeists, coyotes. The luminous beings, orbs of light, or figures made of pure energy. They communicate not with words, but with emotions, transmitting feelings of love, unity, and the interconnectedness of all life. In mythology, these are angels, spirits of light, sun gods like Ra. The aliens, the classic gray or insectoid beings with long limbs and large eyes, often in technological environments. They communicate telepathically and seem to be conducting some form of research or testing. The elves or machine gnomes, highly intelligent, fast-moving beings who live in worlds of complex, ever-shifting mechanical structures. They often show travelers complex symbols and imagery, revealing the laws of the universe. The demons and dark spirits, threatening figures that feed on fear and anxiety. An encounter with them is a bad trip, a confrontation with one's own inner demons. But often, it's after such an encounter that a person emerges transformed and stronger. The serpentine entities, snakes or dragons that symbolize transformation, energy, and healing. They often act as guardians to portals into other realms. It is staggering, but this catalog remains consistent across millennia and cultures. The ancients weren't just hallucinating, they were visiting the same places and talking to the same locals. This was the constancy and predictability that interested not only scientists, but also intelligence agencies. While Rick Strassman was preparing for his research, the CIA had already been conducting its own top-secret experiments for decades. Recently declassified documents have revealed the existence of the Stargate Project, which ran from the 1970s until 1995. The goal? To use altered states of consciousness for remote viewing, spying on enemies with the power of the mind. They discovered that about 1% of the population has innate psychic abilities. They selected and trained these individuals. One of their top agents, Joseph McMonagle, could, knowing only a social security number, accurately locate a secret agent or describe a new Russian submarine in detail before military intelligence even knew about it. In 1984, the CIA asked McMonagle to look at Mars 1 million years ago. Without knowing the target, he described a desert landscape ravaged by storms, enormous pyramidal structures, and tall humanoid beings hiding inside them as if in hibernation. He didn't just see another place, he had traveled in time. Another declassified project, the Gateway Process, was even more ambitious. The CIA documents describe a step-by-step guide to achieving out-of-body experiences using sound frequencies and hypnosis. They concluded that our brain is an antenna and the universe is a hologram. If you tune the brain's frequency correctly, you can pick up a signal from any time, place, or dimension. Psychedelics like DMT, they believed, were the fastest and most efficient way to achieve this tuning. Both projects were officially terminated in 1995. The same year Dr. Strassman's research ended. A coincidence? Or did all further development simply go deeper into the shadows? So what do we have? Ancient civilizations across the globe used DMT to gain knowledge that seems impossible to us. Modern scientific research confirms that DMT grants access to perceiving realities beyond our 5 senses, and intelligence agencies have spent decades trying to weaponize it. The most revolutionary conclusion from all of this is as follows: the ability to travel in time, to project astrally, and to communicate with entities from other dimensions appears to be hardwired into every human being. The pineal gland is not a vestige. It is our internal Stargate. This knowledge was lost, deliberately hidden, or declared heresy. But now, thanks to brave researchers and declassified files, we are beginning to reassemble this ancient puzzle. The human mind is the last uncharted continent, and perhaps the key to exploring it has been inside us all along. The only question is, are we ready to turn that key? If you could travel anywhere, to any time or dimension, where would you go? And what would you want to learn? Let us know in the comments. This is where I sign off. Think for yourselves, and until next time.